Flexcast, we are back with another guest, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the last one. This next guy here is incredibly funny. I've seen him live online. I think I've seen him live once, like randomly. I don't think I knew you were going to be performing. But when I saw it, it was just as funny as when I saw it online. So I was excited. I was ready to have you come on the podcast. Go ahead and tell the people who you are and what you do, man.
I'm Mason Smith, and I'm a comedian.
Everybody clap it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to say thank you for having me.
Of course. Everyone clap it up for Mason.
Got manners.
We got him in the building, man. And Mason, one question I like to always ask comedians, like, is about the beginning of their like funny, because not everyone was born funny. Some people were born funny, but some people kind of grow into it. What was your beginning like for you? Like, how old were you when you were like, damn, I'm kind of funny?
Like 3.
Okay, how did this go?
So my mom has old VHS. So I'm an only child.
Okay.
And I was my mom's like, I'm like her baby.
Okay.
Like I'm all she's got.
Okay.
So when I was born, she was a stay-at-home mom, and I would act out movies and like scenes from movies and put on plays for her throughout the day, just to like, I was just me and her while my dad was at work. Mm-hmm. So I would just act out like I did my big one, my killer. My good set was Jack and the Beanstalk. Okay. And I would use the vacuum cleaner as the cow. So I was using props and all kinds of shit. And then just forever, like as long as I can remember, I was always trying to entertain people. Okay. I would put plays on for my families when we were together for like Thanksgiving. I was just obsessed with being the center of attention, as most comics are, And then in high school, and all through just school in general, I was never like good at sports. So like I wasn't a jock.
Right.
I was never good at I was terrible at school, but I was always the funny kid.
Yes.
So everyone wanted to hang out with me. Everyone would invite me to the high school parties because I was the funny kid. Okay. So like I've always, and I love comedy, always have loved comedy. First thing I saw was Blue Collar Comedy Tour on DVD.
Wow, this is Foxworthy.
This was like this was like 2000.
Okay.
Whenever Blue Collar Comedy Tour came out, that was the first stand-up I had ever seen. Before that, I was just obsessed with Jim Carrey.
Oh, hilarious.
I loved funny movies. That was like my shit.
Yes.
And then when I saw, the first one I saw, my dad only would let me watch the Bill Engvall one, which, not that great. Okay. But, whatever. And then the Jeff Foxworthy one. And then I snuck watched
Ron White.
Yeah! Who I've seen now multiple times.
Yes.
And wow.
Yeah. A legend.
Legend. And then I snuck watched Larry the Cable Guy. Yes. And I remember my first thought was, how are they just being funny? They're just talking. And for years, I thought that stand-up was you just going up. I didn't realize, even when I started comedy in 2018, I remember I started going and just watching open mics and shows at this local club. I lived in Boston. Okay. Oh. And there was a club in Somerville called, I'm very burpy. Yeah. I'm trying to be nice on this one.
Because you're popping the hops, man.
On my podcast, I rip them.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I rip them right into the mic.
Well, you're at home. Be comfortable.
I mean, you're not going to like that. I will if you want. We can turn it into a little bit of high noon. But yeah, I remember I
upstairs,
started,
not downstairs.
So I started going and just watching all this live stand-up. It was called the Comedy Studio in Somerville, Mass, which is they call it it's like a village in Boston, little area there. And I just like fell in love with it. And I remember the first time, I went like 2 weeks in a row and saw multiple of the same comics, and they did the same act. And I went, oh my God, you mean they're just saying the same shit over and over? It's not all off the top of their head.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wow, okay, all right. So I'm learning. And one night I was there for the open mic, and this guy, Jack Hall, shout out Jack Hall, came up to me and goes, buddy, I've seen you come here for 3 weeks in a row. If you don't sign up now, I don't want to see you here next week.
Oh,
wow.
Because he knew I wanted to do it.
He knew, he was calling.
Yeah, because I had met him like 3 weeks before I went up.
Okay.
And I told him I wanted to do comedy.
Nice.
And he was like, if you don't sign up, I don't want to see you here again.
I like people like that.
And I went and I signed up and I never quit. I haven't stopped since.
So last question I'll ask you that kind of ties into that. What was one of your early jokes? Do you remember any of your okay, give me one that was like when you're first going up at open mic in Boston.
Yeah, so my first joke that worked
Okay.
that I got laughs off of
Okay.
was you want me to like do the bit?
Let's do it.
Do it.
All right. So you ever tried kissing without making the kissing sound?
No.
No.
Yeah, no?
No.
I want you to think about it.
Okay.
So when you go in for a kiss, you make that sound,
Yeah.
right? You
Right.
make
Okay.
that sound. Now try to just kiss someone without making that sound.
Does that make it a kiss anymore?
You're just touching lips.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'd say, I said, I got a good friend of mine who likes getting his ass ate,
Oh gosh.
which I've never had done, and I would never subject a woman to that because it's a nightmare down there.
I don't
Oh, good
suggest
Lord.
it.
And I said to my friend, I said, doesn't that make you kind of feel like a lady? And he was like, oh, yeah, a little bit, you know. It's not like when you're getting your dick sucked and you go, oh, yeah, suck that dick.
Oh gosh.
It's more like I let out a feminine sound, like, oh. And I said, oh, how did it go? Oh, and then I go, oh, fuck. Well, the punchline is, I had some questions for him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When she's doing that, does she make the kissing sound? And that was like the callback.
Right, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, that was my first good joke.
I bet you that got laughs in Boston.
Yeah. And it's not even I don't know why I said good joke as if it's fucking good, but you guys laugh, so that's
Well, that
cool.
was your first
Maybe I'll
that
bring
was
it back.
Successful laugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody got to start
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, my first set, I remember I walked out on stage, and I remember my first thought was, God damn, it's bright. It's because it was in a legit club.
Right.
So most people's first sets are at a bar.
Yeah. Okay.
In like a shitty little open mic bar.
Right.
But I went out, and this was a legit club, and I came out and I couldn't see anyone. My ex-wife was there, and
Wait, she was your ex at the time?
no, she was my real wife.
Okay,
at
so
the time.
okay, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
dang, she was checking you out early.
She was
Yeah, I
boy.
know. And I don't even know what I said.
Okay.
And I did about a minute and a half out of 3. So I did about half my time. I came off stage and Jack Hall was waiting for me. And he goes, what'd you think? And I was just shaking. And I was like, I fucking loved it. And he's like,
Real.
I'll see you next week.
Oh,
And I haven't stopped since.
Nice.
that's beautiful. So that was the perfect way to be pushed into your career.
Yeah, yeah.
And say, well, trucking down that road to your career. You have your own podcast, High Noon. Tell us how it started and how's it going?
Well, it's going much better now that we started filming.
right.
I had about 70 episodes of all audio only.
Okay.
And then I hired a producer. And when I moved I'll back up. So I started the podcast in February of 2020.
Okay.
Before the pandemic hit. Okay. So like I bought all this equipment, and I was going to do it with my best friend that I started a week apart from, Andrew Vickers, who I'm actually, can I plug something real quick?
Absolutely. Plug everything.
I'm actually flying to Boston June 20th for on June 24th. I'm featuring for him at Nick's Comedy Stock.
Clap it up for that, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's
Which
cool.
Okay.
congratulations to him. That's a huge
Yeah.
step if you're a Boston comic.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you guys have heard of that place, but it's a legendary club. Bill Burr started there. Joe Rogan. Like it's a huge deal as a Boston comic to
Okay.
get a headlining spot.
Okay.
It's a big
Period.
milestone.
It's similar to like our ATX Comedy Club here. Like
Okay.
it's well known. It's a hub. I would say it's kind of like similar to Vulcan a little bit. Like
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a big deal as a comic who is almost 5 years in. It's like a big stepping stone.
Okay.
So I'm going to be featuring for him on June 24th.
Congratulations.
In Boston.
Yes. That's
Are you
exciting.
gonna tell the mouth joke or no?
No, no. I've often thought about bringing it back, but so February 2020, him and I started the podcast, and we wanted to do just me and him.
Okay.
Like Shane Gillis's podcast.
I don't watch it. No.
So we kind of like modeled it after that.
Okay.
But for the first, we did 10 episodes before we released one because we couldn't figure out what we were doing.